Hey, I'm Jamie,
And I'm Blake.
and we are Blamey.
I guess so.
I have no idea what we're doing because he hasn't told me yet.
You're right. And this is the best type of video because I just kind of make it up on the fly.
While eating Jamba Juice.
I actually kind of forgot about what we were going to do here. What was it?
Well, this video is sponsored by Jamba, and it turns out it's better the second day after it's been in the freezer.
It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean Passion was really good, but the gummy bear one is excellent too.
Sorry, that wasn't saved into the freezer last night.
So
you're going to stop eating and tell us what we're doing?
I really can't remember what it was. There was a great idea for a video.
This is a great opportunity to improvise. Any improvising ideas?
How did I forget what we're doing? I was like, all right, we're doing this.
It's something about a book. Something about a character. Something about a TV show.
We're talking about you and books.
Me and books. Is it all of my typos that I found?
I remember this. So last night, I finished a book. Probably about 12:30 at night.
That's the latest I've seen you up for a while, right? Finishing a book.
So, but here's the thing. I often will stay up late to finish books. Sometimes till like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen you do that. So what is it that makes it so you do not want to stay up late and finish books?
I think I have an actual problem.
Okay.
That when I am reading a book that is that good, I don't want it to end. So I think what compels most people to stay up late is like the opposite for me. I'm like, I gotta put this down because it's so good. I don't know how to explain it, but I know this to be a fact because if I'm reading a book, so sorry.
She just kicked my shin so hard.
It's okay, eat your ice cream.
Okay.
If I'm reading a book that I like am forced to read, or maybe a book club book that I'm not excited about, or like a book that I just am like, just need to get out of the way, I fly through those books. When I'm reading like really, really good books, like right now I'm reading 3 really great books, I almost don't want to read them. Like I don't spend as much time reading them because I want them to last.
That makes absolutely no sense.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. We live in a world of almost infinite stories.
Yes.
And there's a lot of really good stories out there. In fact, there's a ton of really good stories sitting on your shelves out there that you need to read. Like, you don't have enough time to do all of them.
You've told me lots of times that I do have enough time. Because I'm going to read until I'm 100 years old.
Yeah, but the problem is it's an infinite resource. People are going to keep telling stories that are worthy of being read. So sticking around is just depriving yourself of even better books.
I think if I fly through books, though, if I just read them fast, I forget about them so fast, and they're just like, okay, done, that was cool. But if I'm like sitting in it and I can think about it all day long, and
but here's the thing: you say you fly through bad books, basically, right? No wonder you don't remember them because they suck, right? Like you can read books that are great that still stick with you, and you move fast.
Honestly, compared to some of my friends who I know cannot put books down, I feel like I'm glad for this because they stay up too late or they, I don't know, have a hard time not getting grumpy about putting their books down. Where I'm fine, and I mean, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Okay, it worked, but I need to be able to put my book down so I can't get too attached. I don't know. Maybe it's like a safety thing. I don't know. I have no idea.
That's fine. So I'm curious what everybody else does. Do they stay up late reading books, or you put the book down and enjoy the experience away from the book?
I just can put it down. Like I can, like there's times where I need to like read the next chapter, but.
Yep. So when we were reading the first book of the Stormlight Archive, so Way of Kings, and I told her there's Waterfall Point where you're not going to want to stop. I feel like it was there a little bit for you, but definitely not as strong as I thought it would be.
Interesting. It waterfalled, and we did finish the end. We read a lot that last night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, babe. I don't know what to tell you.
No, it's nothing wrong. It's just different. It's interesting. And I find that interesting. I thought it'd be interesting to hear a video on, what keeps you up. It is interesting. It's rare that a book keeps me up late, but it happens every once in a while. Mm-hmm. And I just will want to plow through it. The book I was just barely reading, The Fool's Errand, I was halfway through at about, I don't know.
9?
No. It was earlier. It was earlier in the day than that. It was halfway through. It was like 4:30 in the afternoon, maybe. Okay. And then I was done at like 12:30. because I just liked it and read a whole bunch. Got into it and didn't want to stop. It was good.
And I can do that. I can plow through when I like a book, but also I don't know what it is.
What age did you start delaying your finishing to increase the satisfaction of the book?
I think it's a recent thing.
Ah.
I've been like doing some self-analyzing because it's weird because I'll just fly through other things. Like I'm a faster reader than I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
So I should be able to like really get lost in books and just plow through them, but I don't know. I want them to last. I want them to like savor it.
See, and I guess the way I do that is I just read freaking long series.
Yeah, it does it.
Yeah, Wheel of Time. I mean, you can savor that all you want. You can take you years.
I don't know. That one might be getting to a point where I might be able to speed read because it's getting a little rough.
Yeah, you're right. Some of those later books get a little rough and then they get much better again. So, all right. Well, this was our video on weird reading habits. Is there any other weird reading habits you have? I'm trying to think if there's other weird reading habits I have.
I need like 4 bookmarks in my book at all times.
Oh my goodness. You have lots of weird reading habits.
I guess so.
Yes, she's not wrong. She like this is halfway, this is 3/4, this is where each chapter is.
Not each chapter.
This is where every time there's a typo.
I just like to be very I like to be very aware of where I'm at in my book.
Speaking of reading habits, Jamie keeps track of typos that she finds in their books. How many are you up to now?
I think I have 12 as of 2022.
12 in 2022?
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Wow. So I guess how are this many typos going through? And how do you find them? Because there's some of the same books I've read, and I just...
That's another thing. I don't think I find them in all the horrible ones because I'm reading too fast. I'm finding them in all my favorite ones where I'm reading slow, I'm reading each word, I'm taking my time, and that's where I find all of the errors. I don't know. I think you read too fast.
So one of the interesting things I've discovered about reading is apparently the faster you read, the less you're reading all the letters in a word.
That makes sense. You're reading like a word, you're not reading the letters.
Yep. And interesting, like the faster you read, you almost read a sentence as opposed to a word. Like you can look and see a sentence and know what that sentence is.
Is that the same with listening? Because I feel like I do that with listening too.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, any other interesting reading habits? I'm trying to think of reading habits that I have. One thing that I have that I think people find weird is I often am in the middle of like 5 books at the same time. And so like when I finish all my books, I'll go and grab like 5 books and start reading them all at the same time.
Yeah, you always have a bunch on your nightstand.
Yep. And it really is almost a thing of like, okay, which one's gripping me the most, and then I'll continue that one.
Yeah.
But I think people find that very weird that I'm reading so many books at the same time.
Juggle all of them.
Yep. And sometimes they're very similar books, which are interesting there. And not, sometimes they're very different, but that's a weird thing that I do. I also used to get in trouble all the time in school for reading. I had teachers at parent-teacher conference tell my mom that I was reading too much. I remember an English teacher told my mom that I was reading too much and wasn't paying attention in class. And I was reading War and Peace in the thing. War and Peace is a really old book that I didn't actually finish. So, but it's not even that old. But it's considered one of the classics. But it's ginormous. I don't know, 1,300 pages, something like that. Ridiculousness. I mean, it might be exaggerating. It may be like 900 pages. All I know is it was crazy. And I was trying to read it, and I was getting in trouble because I was supposed to be doing something else. But yes, so I used to get in trouble for those things.
Didn't your mom tune that teacher out?
I think so, actually.
Like, yeah. I'm not going to listen to you because this is not a problem.
Yeah. Me reading a lot in English was apparently not a problem.
So
I used to get in trouble for reading other books while I was supposed to be following along in class and reading books because I had already finished the books that we had been assigned. Like, so we'd be like reading Harry Potter 3 or something, and I had finished Harry Potter 3 in like 15 minutes. And then
15 minutes, guys.
Okay, not really 15 minutes.
You heard it here.
No, it didn't take me very long. And then I'd be reading other books, and I'd get in trouble because I didn't know where we are in the thing, even though I'd already finished the book. So.
I thought of another weird habit I have.
Ooh.
I have to be able to pronounce the word. He can just like fly over a name, like if it's a name. I have to like sit for like the first 4 chapters. I like will read the name like 4 times every time it comes up because I need to like it's still in my brain, right? Instill, is that a word?
No, yes, instill is definitely a word. It's funny because I definitely do that, and I basically be like, who cares what phonetically this is? This guy's name is now Jehoshaphat or whatever. I don't know, and I just go, and so we'll be talking about a book, and I'll be like, what about Jehoshaphat? And you mean like Joseph? And I'm like, oh, I don't know.
What? Anyway, so
No,
there's...
I totally do that though, huh? Like there'll be names from like...
You just like want to, like, you don't know their names almost. You're just like, you recognize the word, or you can like get some of the letters.
I just have my own, like, I pick like 3 of the letters, make my own pronunciation for the name, and I move along.
Yeah, and I like read it in my head, so I have to say it every time in my head. And the worst book, hands down, I've ever read when it came to that was the prequel to Hunger Games. Oh. His name, President Snow's name, is like the most ridiculous name I've ever heard in my life. And I would do that. I would call him Cornelius because my brain just couldn't. Every time it came up, I'm like, your name sucks. And because you like Cornelius Fudge? Maybe. Yeah. I don't. But Cornelius just was so much easier than Coriolanus. No, see? I don't even remember. I don't really care, but it was bad. I probably call him like Coco in my head. I read the things in my head, all of the words and the names. I don't know. I should probably learn how to read normal. That is an interesting thing that I've learned, that to read faster, you're not supposed to read it. Like, you're not supposed to have an internal dialogue in your head. And I'm trying so hard. Sometimes I get really good at that. And of course, if I'm like sucked into a chapter, I'm fine. But it's like the dredging through other things. So let us know what other weird reading habits are out there that you might know about, that you may do. I'm sure there's more, and we'll point them out as we have them. And we're probably going to know a whole bunch about them. But now you know a bunch of our weird reading habits. One last one before I send it off. When people used to ask me what my worst pet peeve was, my answer was always people interrupting me when I read. Yeah. That was it. That was number one. Then I had kids, and it's never not interrupted when you read. It's very, very true. It's what happens. Sad. All right. All right. Like and subscribe. See you later. Bye.